seems somehow out of sync a little bit. Oh, now it seems better. So hopefully it's working all right. Okay, so yeah, welcome to DrupalTutor Live. Thanks for joining. Um, we've been off for the last couple weeks because I have contractors working in my house. That's why I had to just delay this start a little bit. Thank you for holding on. All right, so in this live stream, oh yeah, first, I'm Wayne Aker. I'm a Drupal developer and the trainer at DrupalTutor.com, where I teach Drupal training classes for students of all skill levels, from beginner to adult. And in this live stream, I'm building a new version of the DrupalTutor.com website, which is a Drupal website where I sell and deliver the trainings online. So if you are not already signed up, you can go to DrupalTutor.com/live to get to see all the previous episodes of this series, and also you can enter your email address and get email notifications each week, where I'll tell you what I'll be working on each week. And so you can decide if you want to tune in live. For those of you who are tuned in live, the comment feature in YouTube is active, so feel free to write comments. If you have questions, write them in the comments, and I will try to answer them in real time as they come in. All right, so yeah, all right, so this week, it's been a couple weeks, so I'm kind of got to get my head back in this project a little bit. Sorry, I gotta move this one thing because it's really annoying me because there's like a delay on it. Let's see if I can get this one thing off my screen. Yeah, okay. So so it's been a couple of weeks since we were working on this. The last major thing that we built was it was a scheduled email system. We spent like 4 weeks on it or something, 3 or 4 weeks, and where I can send out emails on a relative time schedule based on when students start the course, so they can I can send them an email like every week. And even, no matter when they start their course, it's relative to their registration date. So that's what we've been working on for the last couple weeks. And this week, I want to do a little bit to finish that up, and then try to extend this system to give us other relative sort of date stuff. So specifically, the system currently allows me to specify those emails at a session level or at a class level. So sessions, there are many sessions of a class, and so I can specify those at either level, and it combines them together and then sends it. This allows me to sort of template out all the email schedules just at the class, and then most of the sessions, they'll all run that same way. However, sometimes I do private sessions, and so it's nice to be able to override it and maybe have different emails because it's like just for one company or something. So that's what I want to do today. It currently works at both levels, but it merges them together. I want a way to exclude the class emails from a particular session. So we're going to do that, and then after that, assuming that we still have time, then I want to look at lesson schedules, because all of the lessons on DrupalTutor are available. Like when you start a course, you can go through all the lessons as fast as you want. However, I usually present them in a way where there's sort of like 1 week per lesson. And again, it's relative date based on when you start. And so we already have all this relative date math built in the scheduled rules, and so module that we've been building. And so I want to see if we can reuse that in a way to do the relative dates, even though I don't need any particular action to occur on those dates. Maybe we can still use that to schedule the relative dates. So yep, so that's what we're going to work on today. And let me just take my jacket off, and then we'll get started. That is the wrong desktop. Okay, so here we are. All right, so where we left off, we had scheduled actions. And we can get to those scheduled actions, like if I go to a particular session, in the, like this particular one, if I view this, there's a scheduled actions tab underneath. And here I can see that I had some emails templated out to go at 202 minutes after registration starts, 10 days and 15 days. Now this is one that was defined at the course page, and so like you can only edit it by going up to the course scheduled actions page, and that's where this one particular email is defined. So you can see for this session we're getting sort of a merge of both of them, and that's where we left off at the end of the last session a few weeks ago. So the first thing we're going to do is make a way so that I can exclude these class ones from coming through to this session. So the first thing we're going to need is some way to specify that. So well, actually we're going to need a field for that. So if I go to like session, let's see, do I want to define these? Yeah, I think we can define these on the as well, let's see. Actually, what did I do in the TSD? Let's see. Yeah, I think I'll do it. I think I'll do it as a add-on field. I'm just trying to decide if I want to do this as a base field on these sessions, or if I want to do it as a contribute, just a regular field through the interface. I think a field through the interface is okay though for this. We'll have to do it potentially for those on-demand ones. We'll have to do it for all of them. So that's what I was trying to decide. But maybe, I think it'll be fine. It'll be easier to do it this way. So let's see. I need a Boolean. And this will be called like exclude class or course, sorry, exclude course email schedule. And then let's make this a little, let's see, exclude course emails will be the field name. The default will be that it's unchecked. Okay, so then we have that. Let's make sure it's going to show up on the form. Yes. Put that up here. And then let's go to that particular session. And let's exclude it for this one. Now, of course, that hasn't done anything. So when we go here, we're still going to see this course email. So let's fix that. So we define that page. That page is coded. And it's in the controller for DT course. So let's see, build a rule listing page. Course rules of editable, true. Let's see, what did we? Okay, let's look at the routing real quick, just so I'm. So the routing for session scheduled actions is session scheduled action rules. That's session scheduled action rules. That calls to build the listing page. So we need something else in here. Course rules are editable. Maybe we need something to say we don't want to see course rules as well. So maybe I'll add a new parameter here, course rules visible. We'll set the default to true. However, and if it's true, then it just does the normal thing. So how did we do this before? Okay, schedule action rule. Oh, I defined the rule property somewhere else. Oh, actually, it's not necessary. Okay, hold on. This actually isn't necessary. Maybe I was already thinking ahead. I can't remember. But so I have to pass in the rule properties. So the rule properties up here, and they get OR'd together. So the rule property is it's either for this session or for the course that the session is for. So actually, if I just check the logic here, I don't always have to include the course ones. So include course. Let's see. Include course rules. We'll say by default it's true. Then if session has field, we have to check to see if it has the field because we added it through the interface, which means, like, for example, there were on-demand sessions where I haven't added that field yet, and I don't want to start trying to access that field or else it'll throw errors and runtime errors. So I should check to make sure this field actually exists. So I think it was field exclude course emails. Is that, I should need to make sure I get that right. Yes. Okay, if it has this field, then include course rules is session has field, or sorry, session get value. And we'll just make sure it's a Boolean. I think it'll probably come out of this either like a 1 or 0, so let's just make sure it's a Boolean. And so then we can say something like rule properties, and it's always going to include this one. And then we can say if include course rules, then rule properties field course, this, and then we can just pass, oops, and then we can just pass that in, and yeah, I think that should work. So let's go back to here, refresh, and I'm still seeing it. So let's see what the value of include course rules is. Include course rules is true. Oh, wait, because this is exclude, so it's actually opposite. If this is checked, so hold on. This is actually, I've done this backwards. Let's exclude course rules. And then if not exclude course rules. Except I should spell exclude correctly. All right. Okay, so the course rule is gone now. If I go over here and uncheck it and save, it should show back up. There it is. Okay. All right, so that part works as far as the listing. However, we also need to have this work for generating the actions because you know, we need to have the same field respected there. So we generate the actions in the registration generator. This is a plugin that creates these rules, or creates the scheduled actions based on the relative date to a registration entity. So let's see. So here I am getting all the rules. Let's see. I'm getting all the registrations for this session. And this, I'm getting all the registrations for the course. So I only want to do the course. Oh, wait, hold on. So I only want to do registrations for the course. I have to check what the session is and if they have a, let's see, can I do this in the query? So the registration to the session. I think this is possible to do in the query. So because the registration links to the session links to the course. So I want to exclude any registrations in this part that are linked to a session with that box checked, or with no value for that field, which would handle like the on-demand or something if it didn't have that field. It would be the same as like checking for not having the field. So I think I may need to do some logic here in the query, so let's break this query up a little bit. So we'll start with a query, and let's see, the query, I need an OR condition group. So I can OR two things together. The two things will be not exist field, what was it called exactly? Field exclude course emails. Oh wait, it's got to be session entity field exclude course emails because it's a field on the session entity. Or the condition that this is equal to 0 or false. Yeah, and then we can add that the OR condition on here to the query, and I think that should work. So let's test and see. All right, so we've got this excluded. Let's go in here to these actions and actually let's delete them. How many are in here? Just going to delete them and have them so we can rerun that and see what it generates. Okay, so there's no actions currently for this session. That's good. And then we have a Drush command. I don't remember what it is for, let's see, for doing this, for generating the queuing the rules. Oh yeah, we had to queue and then execute the queue. Yeah, I think this was the command we used before. So this queues the rules, and then this runs the thing that executes that. Okay, so I've got a mistake. Oh, so it's entity, yeah. After the colon needs to be the entity type, and then dot the field. Okay, so did that break everything, or what did it do? Looks like it did a couple. Maybe it did. It did. Looks like maybe it did the ones for a session, but then it crashed on the way it got to the class or something. So we'll just delete them again and rerun this. Okay, didn't crash. Didn't do anything either, though. Let's see. Let's just do a dump here to see what it's even finding. Is it finding any of these registration IDs for the session? So it's got no registrations for the session. Let's take a look at the registrations. So they're in the pending status, which I am allowing. Oh, I just deleted my rules instead of my actions. Ugh, okay. So I got to make them again. That's why. I was on the wrong tab. I thought I was deleting the actions again. Okay, so 10 days after test session, send the test email. And let's just have that one rule for now. Okay, that redirected to a weird spot, but I can fix that at some other point. Okay, so now I got one rule and no actions. Okay. All right, and so I got one action, and how many registrations do I have? I have two, don't I? Oh, no, I'm back on the rules. Okay, that's redirecting to the wrong spot. Okay, so I ended up with 3. So, okay. Interesting. What other registrations? So, have one that starts on the 31st of March, one that starts there. So 10 days after, that one is correct. This one is correct. What is this one? This one looks like... This one looks like maybe I got it from... This one came from the other... I think my listing page is wrong. I think this is actually for the wrong... Oh, this is actually one that's for the same course. Oh yeah, that's a tricky thing, because how am I going to exclude that? Okay, so the problem is, back here on the listing page, for the actions, it's showing me everything that's linked, all the actions that are related to rules, which are for this course, and all of them that are for any any session of the same course. So it's showing me ones for the other session of the same course. Let me see if I can fix that somewhat easily. So we have the action listing page, which does what? Sessions, scheduled actions. Yeah, because it's ORing these together. Which is how it's getting me the ones from the other course. Or from the other session, because they're in the same course. That is a tricky one. I need to think about how I'm gonna solve that. Because it's like I need to do a different thing here. Like I need to specifically link to the registration IDs. Which I could do. When it gets here, it's searching. So the registration IDs for this session would be like, I have an entity. Do I have an entity type manager in here? Yes. This entity type manager gets storage, registration, query, condition, session. Okay, and then I need to build this action listing page, but what is the field called? Sorry, this is getting a little confusing here. Scheduled action rule has a base field called like key or something. Or sorry, it's scheduled action. Has a base field called rule ID and rule key. So the rule key that's Okay. I'm not sure we can do it straight in the query. I think we're going to need to like pass in something else here, like the registration IDs. And then down here, we should check when we load these. Because we need this to be sort of an and. So maybe, actually we can probably do it. It needs to be condition, rule, key, registration IDs, in. But let's set the default to null. And then we can just check if registration IDs isn't null, then add this condition to check the rule key to make sure it's in one of the registration IDs from this session. So I'll go ahead and do some preemptive dumps because I don't believe I'm going to get this right on the first try. No. Okay. Okay, so the registration IDs look good. And what about down here? Oh, that looks good. So it excluded the one that is not in this thing. Okay, so that looks good. All right. So, okay, I think we fixed that problem. Now let's try to get back to what I was doing. So what was I doing? I was, what was I doing? Oh yeah, I'm trying to confirm that the correct actions are being, sorry, that the course level actions are being excluded. So here I got two actions, sorry, one action for each registration, because you can see they're different users, and they are correctly set, and they are set for the rules, the one rule that is on this session. And if I look at the course, there is still a rule here that didn't get applied. So now let's go back to the session and let's uncheck this. Go back here, look at actions. Let's run the sync command again. And if it worked, I would expect two more to show up here that are 15 days after the start, which looks right. So this one was 10 days, this is 15 days, 10 and 15 days. That worked. Now, if I go back in here and check this again, because this does like a full sync, they'll still be here right now, but if I run it again, they should be deleted. And they are. Okay. So, all right. So I think that works. So we now have the ability to exclude the course email schedules from coming down to the session level. We can let's just double check one thing. So this one doesn't have any sessions. We should just maybe confirm that this one is okay. I mean, here it is, so I think it's working because there's one registration for this. I'm just going to delete it and make sure it gets recreated, because this is sort of the opposite case where it only has class rules, and that is correct. So it regenerated it. All right. So okay, so I think we are done with the first thing that I wanted to do. So now let's think about lesson schedules. So for a lesson schedule, I want to create these kind of rules. I don't know. Maybe lesson schedule isn't going to work now that I think about it, because I actually need 2 dates. I usually say that the lesson is from here, from A to B, like it's like, you know, this day to that day. So maybe it's going to be too much to shoehorn that into scheduled actions, scheduled action rules, because we only have 1 date, and I don't necessarily want to have like a second date on there. I don't think so. I think that's going to complicate things too much. So let's think of another way to do that. So what I need is basically a way to say this lesson goes from this relative date to that relative date. So I need, let's see, do I have paragraphs? I mean, I could use a paragraph type for this, potentially. I don't know that I really want to do that. I think I'm going to create a custom entity instead, because it's not really intended that you could use a paragraph, but that's kind of, that would be the quick and dirty way. And if you don't want to code something, like if you're not a programmer, that would definitely be a way to do that, because I basically need a way to encapsulate a couple of values, 2 values, start and end, or actually start, end, and the lesson content. But I think that I'm just going to, I think I'm going to generate something, a new entity type for this. Okay, yes, I've decided. So I need Drush gen entity content. I think that I decided that I can put this into the existing modules now. So we'll put it into DT course because it's really course material. It is like lesson schedule. Don't actually call it lesson. Maybe it's not even a lesson, like it's maybe it's just a schedule. And these will put them under, I mean, they don't really, we're never really going to look at them like individually. They're just sort of like data. So admin, what is my other? Admin, LMS. So we can say schedules. Admin, LMS, schedules. Does not need to be fieldable because I think it's just going to have the base fields. Well, I don't know, maybe there'd be a reason to have it be fieldable. I'll go ahead and revisionable. Possibly, yeah. Translatable, no. I don't think it needs bundles. Does not need a canonical page. Doesn't really need individual permissions. Does it need a label field? The question is there, I'm going to say yes, because I think like the lesson content might be more than one thing, and maybe it'll be like, maybe you'll, yeah, maybe you'll want to label it and show that label on the screen to the student. I think that's how I have it now. Status base field. Yeah, I'll go ahead and allow it to be enabled or disabled. I don't think created or changed are really that useful, but I'll just go ahead and add them. Author's definitely not useful. Description, not useful. Maybe description would be useful. Because now that I'm thinking about this, I'm rethinking sort of how this might work. It's a little different than how I have it now. Right now I have it where all of the sort of material that's presented is in the lesson, but maybe yeah, I think that's still how I want to do it. Because the lesson can contain multiple things. So this is only going to contain one thing. This is only for scheduling. Okay. Yeah. I don't need rest configuration. Okay. All right. So let's go here to the course and download the changes here, since I created it on the server. So now there's a new entity type called schedule, and so actually I think I might get rid of the label, because now that I'm thinking it's only for scheduling, I think the label's not necessary. It's basically going to have three fields, just start date, end date, lesson. Yeah. Okay. Admin LMS schedules. Just make this all sort of match up. So I think I can get rid of the label field. And then I need a start date, end date, and so I need a interval field, which I think I have one, because this is going to be relative to the start date. So it's going to be like from day 0 to day 7 is this, day 7 to day 14 is this. So it's not going to be actual dates. So this will be start. Then we'll need another one. Actually, these need to be required. Okay, so we have the start and end, and then I need a lesson content, which I mean, it could be, I do have a lesson content type. What is the lesson? Let me look at the lesson content type. Yeah, this already has a dynamic reference, entity reference. So this is where I could load different things in there, like different media or different types of things. So I think I've already handled that here. So I think that I can just assign a lesson. So it needs a simple entity reference to content of type lesson. So let's see. Somewhere I probably have an example entity reference. Yeah, here's one for like a session. Can probably start with that. So entity reference, this is going to be required. The target type is node, and I think there is also like target bundle. I can't remember the exact setting for that. Let me see. So I showed this once before that if you want to figure out the settings, you can go to export like a single item, and if you have some other field, like if we have another entity reference field somewhere that already uses that feature or that setting, I'm just going to create something real quick. So on the lesson field, I will create a reference to content type, and I'll just call it test lesson. We'll delete this in a moment. It's going to be content and of type lesson. Alright, so now I need to export that from here, and that should show me what the settings are. Okay, so settings are, so handler settings, target bundles, lesson. The question is, do I need handler settings in there? I think I do. I think I set setting, handler settings, target bundles. Okay, so I think that replicates what I have here. Alright, so let's delete that field. Alright, and schedule the lesson. Okay, and so I am, let's see, we created a new entity type, so I'm going to need to disable this module and re-enable it, or uninstall it and re-enable it, so it's going to force me to delete everything. Oh, wait, before we do that, I need to Drush CEX to capture all the configuration. Then Drush entity delete session registration and course. Then I can uninstall and reinstall. Okay. Let's just okay, this must be a bug in Drush, because Drush generated this for us. It looks like it should have had a revision UID. So let's just uninstall and reinstall again. Okay, so now it's just going to crash on everything. That's fantastic. So oh, maybe I just need to clear caches or something. Let's see. Let me put that back in there and try clearing caches. Okay, so alright, because it failed to install it properly, so now it won't uninstall. So if I take the annotation off, I think that might be enough that it thinks this entity type doesn't exist. Okay, now I can put it back on and re-enable it. And hopefully it'll install correctly this time. Alright, so oh, and then I need to Drush CIM to bring back in all of the fields that I added to courses and sessions and things before. Alright, so I had to wipe out all my courses, so I guess first we should probably check that okay, so there is a place to add schedules. If I click add schedule, it looks for a lesson. Where do I get to the settings actually? Let's add some menu links so that we can find some of this stuff. I'm not really actually sure what the URL is for it. It's entity schedule settings I'm looking for, but I don't. Is it in routing? Oh, it put it under admin structure, which I didn't ask it to do at all. So let's change the URL so that it matches configuration. So admin LMS config schedule. Okay, so here we go. Manage form display is what I was looking for because I think, yeah, the start and end date are just hidden on the form. So start and lesson status. That's what I expect. So let's go back to right. So you could have one here, and the thing is, let's see. Now this doesn't link to a course or a session, but I think I want to link it the other way around, so that's okay. We don't have any lesson content probably. Let's just double check, but I think there's probably none. Oh, actually, maybe let's just not even sure what this content is looking for, but that's okay for now. We don't need all these things to work. Let's just get some test lesson in there so that we can link to it. And then so you're going to have something like 0 days to 7 days, linked test lesson, authored on, doesn't matter. That actually shouldn't even be on the form. Oh, it doesn't allow me. If I do it required, it won't allow me to do 0. Okay, that's annoying. So I guess this can't be set to set required. Clear caches. Okay, 0 days, 7 days, test lesson. Okay, so now we have some sort of schedule set up, relative schedule, and then we need to be able to link it into like a session. So like a session's going to have a field that's going to be a reference to schedule entries. They're definitely going to be more than one. They're going to be schedule, and it's not a required field. Okay, so if I go to courses, let's make a test course again. And if I go to sessions, test session of the test course, and we'll give it a start date of June 1st. And we see we have the schedule here, so why can't I find, oh, I can't because I didn't give it a label, so it's like the number is what it's looking for. Okay, so that's okay for now, but I can link to it. And so I do have a schedule entry there. Now what I'd like to do is be able to create them right in here. So inline entity form is really what I want. Can't remember if I already have that installed or not. Composer require Drupal inline entity form. Looks like I did not have it installed. So this will allow me to create those the right. Oh, maybe I did have it. Oh, I see, it just upgraded it. So I already had it. So then all we have to do is go to session types, scheduled, manage form display. For the schedule, we'll choose, I think simple only allows you to create one. Yeah, we want to be able to create new ones. So let's see. Allow to create new ones, allow to edit existing, allow to duplicate schedule entries. That's probably not useful. Oh, allow them to add existing schedule entries. Probably not, because we're only really going to have them at that one. We're going to only create them in this one spot. So if I refresh this now, okay, so I have the one here. Right, so this is where I could change it. Update, save, edit. Yeah. And I could add a new one, so like I could have a second lesson that starts on day 7 and goes to day 14, and I only have, oh yeah, and then a lesson. I only have the one lesson for now, but I could have that and then save, and that creates a second schedule entry. So this is what I want, I think. This is sort of how I have it now on the site, on the current DrupalTutor site. Works fine. Okay. So one thing that is sort of annoying is that I can't see what's going on with this because I just have these ID numbers here. So we only have a little bit of time left. Let's see if I can figure out in the next 10 minutes how to show more columns here. There is a way. Oh, what's this? It's apparently a module. Oh yeah, that is the kind of thing I want. I want to be able to show columns. I've done it before with a form alter, but if this module will do it, let's see what the status of this is. Yeah, it looks like a decent number of installs and everything. Let's see. Defines a view mode to set up columns of the table for the inline entity form. Seems okay. Let's give it a try. Never used it, but let's try it out. Okay, so enable this. So install as you normally would. Configure the entity reference. There's a new says there's a new type. So inline entity form complex table view mode. Then what? In custom display settings, activate the checkbox and press save. Okay, so I have to turn on this view mode or customize this view mode under, this is for schedules, so it'll be admin LMS schedules. Oh wait, no, admin LMS config schedule. Manage display. Custom display settings, inline entity form table. And then, okay, so I basically just configure whatever I want on there. So go to inline entity form table, So I can just say status or start in status lesson. Don't care about authored on or ID. Yeah. Let's see what that does. Oh, hey, this is a really great module. I mean, the 0 day thing is really annoying me, but I mean, I suppose I could always put 1 second there, like, but it's kind of annoying that it won't show, that it treats 0 days as being empty. But yeah, okay, so that was super easy. That took like 3 minutes. That's much easier than I've ever done it before. Okay, so now we have the ability to put in these schedules for lessons. I need to be able to do this at the course level as well. So let's just, since we have a few minutes left here, let's just go ahead and add this type of field to the course, because again, I want to be able just to do this one time at the course, because almost all the sessions have the same schedule. So I need a reference to a schedule. And oh, did I mess up? Yeah, I want it to be unlimited. Manage form display. Okay, so set that up. I think that should be all that's necessary. If I go here and edit this course now, I can add a schedule for 1 second to 7 days for the test lesson. And then like something like 7 to 14 days, again, just like I did before. And yeah, that looks good. Yeah, so I think I'm going to leave it there for today. What I'm going to do on the next session, the next episode, is I'm going to continue with this, and because I need a similar sort of thing where I can override where things can work at the course level or that can be overridden at the session level. So I'm going to create like a tab on the session where I can see that, or I'll create like another Boolean field and create some way I can see what the lessons are going to be based on that field, sort of like we did with the actions. Yeah, so sorry again for sort of our late start today. Hopefully things next week will be somewhat settled down as far as like the contractors and things I have working here, but we'll find out next week. And thanks again for watching. Just a reminder that you can sign up for email notifications at DrupalTutor.com/live, and to find out what I'm going to be doing each week, and also to see the recordings of any of the previous episodes. All right, so thanks again for watching.